Did you know that the pharmaceutical industry, a sector that is expected to be worth over $1.5 trillion by 2023, operates under a complex set of guidelines known as the ICH? Intriguing, isn't it? The International Council for Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Pharmaceuticals for Human Use, or ICH for short, is a global standard that plays a crucial role in the world of pharmaceuticals. Imagine trying to create a puzzle without knowing what the final picture should look like. You're left with a myriad of pieces, not knowing how to fit them together. That's where the ICH guidelines come in. They provide a roadmap for designing, conducting, and evaluating clinical trials, ensuring that the end product, the drug, is safe and effective for patients. These guidelines are the compass that guides pharmaceutical companies through the intricate process of drug development. From preclinical studies on animals to clinical trials on humans, the ICH guidelines are there at every step, ensuring that the path from a molecule to a medicine is smooth, efficient, and most importantly, safe. But the ICH guidelines are not just about safety and efficiency, they also promote harmonization. In a world where pharmaceutical companies operate across borders, having a unified set of guidelines is crucial. It ensures that a drug developed in one country can be approved and used in another without unnecessary delays. This harmonization also prevents duplication of clinical trials, saving time, resources, and most importantly, reducing the risk to the patients involved in these trials. In essence, the ICH guidelines are the grease that keeps the wheels of the pharmaceutical industry spinning. They ensure that drugs are developed and regulated in a way that balances innovation with safety, efficiency with ethical considerations, and global reach with local needs. So, the ICH guidelines are the cornerstone of pharmaceutical development and regulation. But how did they come into existence? Let's dive into the history. The inception of the ICH guidelines takes us back to the late 20th century. It was a time when the pharmaceutical industry was growing rapidly and globalization was starting to take shape. However, this growth was not without its challenges. Disparities in regulations across different regions were causing significant delays and increasing costs in the development and approval of new drugs. This lack of harmonization was a hurdle for pharmaceutical companies, and it became clear that a global approach was needed to address this issue. Enter the International Council for Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Pharmaceuticals for Human Use, or ICH, formed in 1990. This was a unique venture that brought together regulatory authorities and the pharmaceutical industry from Europe, Japan, and the United States, with the common goal of promoting public health. Europe was represented by the European Commission and the European Federation of Pharmaceutical Industries and Associations. Japan's representatives were the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, and the Japan Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association. And lastly, the United States was represented by the Food and Drug Administration and the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America. This collaboration was not a coincidence. It was born out of necessity. The aim was to create a set of harmonized guidelines that would ensure the development of safe, effective, and high-quality medicines, while also allowing for their swift availability to patients worldwide. The founding members recognized that the lack of standardization was not only an obstacle for the industry, but also a potential risk for public health. The creation of the ICH was indeed a milestone in the history of pharmaceutical development. It was a testament to the power of collaboration and the shared commitment to public health. These guidelines would provide a consistent and unified standard, paving the way for a more efficient and cost-effective process of drug development and approval. From its establishment, the ICH embarked on a journey to streamline pharmaceutical development across the globe. The birth of these guidelines marked the beginning of a new era in the pharmaceutical industry, one that prioritized harmonization, efficiency, and most importantly, the health and safety of patients worldwide. Over the years, the ICH guidelines have not remained static. They have evolved to adapt to the changing landscape of the pharmaceutical industry. Let's delve into this evolution to comprehend how these guidelines have transformed to address the emerging challenges and trends in the pharmaceutical industry. The ICH guidelines emerged in the late 20th century with a singular purpose: to harmonize the technical requirements for pharmaceuticals. However, as the industry grew in complexity and scope, so did the need for comprehensive and adaptable guidelines. The first notable expansion came in the form of the quality guidelines. These guidelines were designed to ensure that all pharmaceutical products maintain the desired quality throughout their life cycle. They cover a broad spectrum of topics, from stability testing of new drug substances to pharmaceutical development and quality risk management. But evolution didn't stop there. The ICH guidelines embraced the digital revolution with the electronic standards for the transfer of regulatory information, or e-standards. These guidelines ushered in a new era of digital documentation and data exchange, greatly improving efficiency and transparency in the pharmaceutical industry. And then came the safety guidelines. With an increasing focus on patient safety, these guidelines were developed to identify, assess, and minimize the risk of adverse effects associated with pharmaceutical products. They encompass everything from non-clinical evaluation for anti-cancer pharmaceuticals to post-approval safety data management. In the most recent years, the ICH guidelines have expanded to cover the multidisciplinary guidelines. This series of guidelines is designed to address complex issues that don't fit neatly into the quality, safety, or efficacy categories. These include topics like gene therapy, pharmacogenomics, and clinical trial disclosure. So, as you see, the ICH guidelines have continuously evolved to keep pace with the ever-changing pharmaceutical industry. They have grown from a set of simple harmonization principles to a comprehensive framework that addresses every facet of pharmaceutical development and regulation. This constant evolution has ensured that the ICH guidelines continue to be relevant and effective. Fast forward to the present day, and the ICH guidelines play a pivotal role in every aspect of pharmaceutical development and regulation. They are not just a set of rules to follow, but serve as a robust framework that ensures the safety, quality, and efficacy of drugs worldwide. Let's dive into the current state of these guidelines. Today, the ICH guidelines are recognized and implemented globally. Pharmaceutical companies, big or small, rely on these guidelines to navigate the complex and intricate landscape of drug development and regulation. They provide a unified standard that simplifies and streamlines the process, reducing duplication and increasing efficiency. But what makes these guidelines so essential to the global pharmaceutical industry? The answer lies in their comprehensive approach to drug development. The ICH guidelines cover every stage of the process, from discovery and development to manufacturing and post-marketing surveillance. They ensure that every drug that reaches the market is safe, effective, and of high quality, protecting public health and instilling trust in the pharmaceutical industry. The guidelines are divided into three broad categories: quality, safety, and efficacy. The quality guidelines ensure that all drugs are manufactured to the highest standards, with consistent quality and performance. The safety guidelines focus on the non-clinical aspects of drug development, assessing potential risks and ensuring patient safety. Lastly, the efficacy guidelines ensure that the drugs are effective for their intended use, providing the much-needed relief to patients. It's important to note that the ICH guidelines are not static. They evolve with the changing needs of the pharmaceutical industry and advances in science and technology. This dynamic nature ensures that they remain relevant and continue to uphold the highest standards of drug development and regulation. Indeed, the ICH guidelines have come a long way, and their impact on the pharmaceutical industry is immeasurable. They have transformed the way drugs are developed and regulated, ensuring that every medicine we take is safe, effective, and of the highest quality. As we wrap up our exploration of the ICH guidelines, let's summarize the key points. So, what are the ICH guidelines exactly? They are a set of international standards set by the International Council for Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Pharmaceuticals for Human Use. These guidelines are designed to ensure the safety, efficacy, and quality of pharmaceutical products, and they play a vital role in the development and regulation of drugs worldwide. The ICH guidelines were born out of a need for harmonization in an increasingly globalized pharmaceutical industry. In the late 1980s, the major pharmaceutical markets of Europe, Japan, and the United States faced challenges with differing requirements for drug approval. To address this, the International Council for Harmonization was established in 1990. This marked the birth of the ICH guidelines, a set of unified standards for drug development and approval. Over the years, the ICH guidelines have evolved to keep pace with advancements in pharmaceutical research and technology. They have expanded to encompass a broad range of topics, from preclinical and clinical testing to post-marketing surveillance. Today, the ICH guidelines are more comprehensive than ever, covering every stage of the pharmaceutical product life cycle. The ICH guidelines are not just a set of rules, they are a framework for collaboration, promoting transparency and consistency across the pharmaceutical industry. By adhering to these guidelines, pharmaceutical companies can ensure the quality of their products, protect the safety of patients, and facilitate the global trade of pharmaceuticals. The significance of the ICH guidelines in the pharmaceutical industry cannot be overstated. They are the cornerstone of global pharmaceutical regulation, shaping the practices of pharmaceutical companies and regulatory authorities alike. Understanding the ICH guidelines is key to navigating the intricate world of pharmaceutical development and regulation. Until next time, keep learning and stay curious.